Good morning, friends, and welcome to episode 90 of Storytime Yoga. I'm going to go live here on Instagram as well. There we are. We are live on Instagram as well, friends. Welcome to episode 90 of Storytime Yoga. I am Miss Mel, your children's yoga instructor with Breathe With Me Yoga and your mindset coach with Rise to Wellness. I am so excited for you all to be here today. Oh, goodness. I need to get rid of some. There we go. We got the volume off over there. So I'm going to give a shout out to Kalena. That's Karen. She has joined us today, and we're going to invite some friends on to join us as well. I am so excited for you to be here for episode 90 of Storytime Yoga because we have a great book here. I'm in Canada, as a lot of you know, my friends, and in Canada, it is Thanksgiving weekend. So in light of that, today we are reading a funny pumpkin book. It's a nice pumpkin book about lots of pumpkins, and it's called Too Many Pumpkins down here for my Facebook and YouTube friends. Up here for my Instagram friends, it's called Too Many Pumpkins. And sometimes during Thanksgiving, we all eat too many pumpkins, don't we? It happens sometimes. We are inviting some friends on. Please do say hello when you jump on. Gerald is here. Thanks for joining. Neil is here. He says you're looking well. Thank you, Neil. Brenda has joined us. All right, get the whole family together, my friends. It is a long weekend here in Canada. And for all of my friends in the UK and in Australia and in the States, I know it's not a long weekend for you, but it has been a long week of schooling and work. So please do get the kids together and come together as a family to read all about Too Many Pumpkins. I'm going to check out our comments here for a moment. I see some comments. Oh, Bobby is here and she says hashtag live, which reminds me, if you are watching live, please too, but hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. We're just checking out. We'll give a shout out to all of our friends that are here. I think we've said hello to everybody. And as usual, friends, I will plop the link to purchase this wonderful Too Many Pumpkins book in the comments here. I'm going to put that in there right now for you, so that you can watch the replay later and follow along with your own copy of the book, my dear friends. It is so much fun to read your own copy and follow along with Miss Mel after the fact. All right, so there are the links there. And you will notice today we are sponsored by Zyia Activewear. We are also partnered with Juice Plus. So today I will be putting the links into the comment below for my Zyia Activewear that I'm wearing today. I'm wearing the red speckly leggings. They're wonderful. Maria has joined us. Thank you, Maria, for joining us. And we have a special guest today, friends. So after class today, stick around, and we have naturopathic doctor, Dr. Rachel Smart, coming to answer some questions for us, to do a little Q&A and to give us information about how to be healthy as a family. So you know what Storytime Yoga is about. It's all about being healthy and breathing and learning to relax our bodies and learning to move our bodies and having fun with stories. So we're going to be learning about healthy living and how to be healthy as families from Dr. Rachel Smart at 10:30 at the end of our class today. So let me go back. I'm going to turn this banner off so that it doesn't distract class. And I'm going to plop that link in to buy the Zyia Activewear, and then we are going to get started. So I'm going to invite all my little friends now, whether you're big or small. I'm going to invite you all to your mat, your blanket, or your piece of floor while I put all of those links there for you. Parents, if you're home and you have little ones, join in with us. These poses are great for everyone, my friends. Big or small, you can all come and do the poses. I know the books will be a little childish for you at first, but the poses are beneficial for everyone. All right, friends, I'm going to step back to my mat, my blanket, or my piece of floor. I'm going to ask you to do the same. I'm going to invite you to do the same. Sitting in crisscross applesauce or in hero's pose, which is on the fronts of your legs here with your bum back on your heels, and we're going to begin class. You remember my handy bells? Sitting up nice and straight and tall. Good job, my friends. All right, we're going to start with our breathing today. And if you're joining us for the first time today, my friends, this is our big breathing ball. And as we breathe all of that air into our belly and make it big like a big balloon, we make our breathing ball big. And as we let out all of that air from our belly and make it small, we make our breathing ball small. Sitting up nice and straight and tall, breathing in and out. In and out, in and out. Good job, my friends. Remember that we're keeping these shoulders at neutral position. We're not hunching up like this while we're breathing, and we're breathing in through our nose and out through our nose or our mouth. We're going to do one more round of that, friends. Sitting up nice and straight and tall, breathing in and out, in and out, in and out. Good job, my wonderful friends. Okay, I'm going to invite all of you to stay on your mat, your blanket, or your piece of floor while I come forward to begin our wonderful pumpkin story. All right, let's see. It looks like, let's see. Oh, yes, Maria has joined. We said hello to Maria. I'm just going to see if any of our other little friends have joined us. We have some friends far away. We have some friends in Australia and in the UK. So sometimes it's difficult to match up when we have an early morning class with all of our friends there. So please be sure to put hashtag live or hashtag replay, whichever one you're watching. And we have our friend Dr. Rachel Smart there. She is here watching, and she's gonna come along with us on our pumpkin journey and then join in at the end of class to answer all of your questions about being healthy. Okay, Too Many Pumpkins, my friends, by Linda White. I'm so excited for this book. I love pumpkins and Thanksgiving, everything pumpkin. All right. Every year at springtime, Rebecca Estelle planted just enough seeds in her garden to grow vegetables for the long winter. She planted carrots and beans, tomatoes and peas, corn and rutabagas. She grew a little bit of everything except pumpkins. Rebecca Estelle hated pumpkins. When she was a little girl, money had been scarce. For an entire month, all there had been to eat were pumpkins. Baked pumpkins, steamed pumpkins, boiled pumpkins, stewed pumpkins, mashed pumpkins, rotten pumpkins, breakfast pumpkins, lunch pumpkins, dinner pumpkins. Enough pumpkins. Rebecca Estelle decided she would never eat pumpkins again or even look at one, not ever. And she didn't until... All right, she is sitting here in her garden, friends. I'm going to show all my friends up here on Instagram. There she is in her garden, and she is planting her garden. So we're going to plant our garden too. Michael Koss is here. Thanks for joining us, Michael. I hope you're well. It's been a while since we've spoken. All right, we're going to come and sit on our mat or blanket or a piece of floor. We're going to do a seated forward bend. And normally we have our feet together like this, our legs together, but we're going to make them wide because we're going to plant our garden too. So we're going to reach up nice and straight and tall, and we're going to come forward into our forward bend, keeping your back straight, okay? So it doesn't matter where you reach. I could be back here. I could be up here. Doesn't matter where you reach, okay, my friends? Keeping that back straight. And now we're going to take our seeds, get our shovel. I want you to dig a hole, dig a little hole, plant your seeds, and then put the dirt back on and pat it nice. And I'll get some more seeds. And we have our shovel still. We're going to dig a hole over here, and we're going to put the seeds in and then put the dirt back on and pat it down nice. Okay, I'm going to go to this side now. So I'm going to get some more seeds, and I'm going to dig my hole. Dig your hole and put the seeds in, and then I'm going to put the dirt back on. And I'm going to pat that one down nice, making sure you're still in that forward bend because you're getting a good stretch. Good job, my friends. Now, I want you to tell me in the chat what you were planting. I was planting beans and carrots and cucumbers. Those are my favorite. Tell me what you were planting. Tell me what you like to plant and what your favorite vegetable is to plant. Mancheri has joined us. Welcome. Let's see. Lindsay has joined us. Welcome. I hope your little one is with you today, Lindsay. Please do join in our yoga class. One autumn day, long after Rebecca Estelle's hair had turned snowy white, she was raking the leaves that fell each fall from her black walnut tree, and her cat, Esmeralda, was scattering them just as quickly. All of a sudden, the pumpkin truck passed by. Oh, she heard it coming, and she knew what it was. It rumbled by at harvest time every year. She turned her back and concentrated on picking up the last fallen leaf. She managed to ignore the truck until, oh my goodness. Okay, so here she is. Rebecca Estelle is here up here for my Instagram friends. She is picking up that last fallen leaf. And you see all these beautiful fall trees? I hope that it looks like this at your house, my friends. Do you see all of those beautiful fall trees at your house? Oh, Rachel says carrots are her favorite vegetable. I just saw that in the chat. Carrots. Does anybody else? What are your favorites? I like carrots too, a lot. I like cauliflower too. All right. So Rachel Estelle, or Rebecca Estelle, I said Rachel because we were just talking about that. Rebecca Estelle is in a standing forward bend and she's picking up that last leaf. So coming to our mat, our blanket, or our piece of floor, we're going to do a standing forward bend, my friends, okay? So we're going to put a little bit of room in between our legs there, and we're going to lift up and look up at the ceiling and point those hands to the ceiling and stretch right through those arms, right through those fingertips. You're going to feel a stretch all the way here, right down through your hips in the front of your body. Stretch, 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 stretch. And now forward bend, keeping that back nice and straight. Okay, not bending that back, keeping that forward bend. If you're tight in the back of the legs, you're going to feel it there. And I want you to pick up that last leaf. Reach down and pick up that last leaf. What color is your leaf? Is it brown? Is it orange? Is it red? Tell me what yours is. Mine is orangey red because it's fall time and it's just turning color. Is it green? Is your leaf still green? It could be still green because we're just moving into fall. So tell me what color your leaf is. All right. Splat! An enormous pumpkin tumbled off the truck and smashed into slimy orange smithereens all over the edge of her yard. Come back here and get this pumpkin, she yelled. But the driver sped away. Look at Rebecca Estelle. See her right here? Up here for my Instagram friends. She is just absolutely flabbergasted at this huge splatty pumpkin. And the way she's standing, I'm going to show my Instagram friends up there again. I'll see if I can get that closer for you. The way she is standing, she's actually got her arms up in the air, just like this big giant tree. She's standing like this big giant tree. Okay, friends, we are going to be like Rebecca Estelle, and we are going to be that big giant tree. There's a couple of trees on her property. So we're going to stand like this, and we're going to lift one foot and get our balance. And then we're going to tripod here if balance is an issue. Otherwise, we're going to bring that foot above or below our knee. I'm going to put mine there. I'm going to bring my hands to heart center to get my balance. And once I have my balance, I'm going to put my big tree arms up just like Rebecca Estelle and just like that big tree that's changing all the colors. Now tell me all of the colors that are on your leaves on your tree. Tell me everything. I've got green and orange and yellow and red and a few little brown ones because they've started to go already. All right, we're going to switch sides, bringing this foot up. Tripoding here if balance is an issue. Otherwise, bringing that foot above or below your knee. Bring your hands to heart center. Get that balance. Remember, you can look at a spot on the floor, or if you have brothers and sisters or moms and dads at home with you, you can hold hands like this and help each other with balance. I have my balance, so I'm going to bring my big tree branches up like Rebecca Estelle. And what is she saying? Do you remember what she said? Come back here and get that pumpkin. You can scream it. It's okay. Nobody's sleeping at your house this morning. Everybody's awake. It's after 10 o'clock. Come back here and get that pumpkin. Good job, my friends. Okay. Well, I won't touch it, Rebecca Estelle insisted, getting her shovel from the barn. And I won't look at it, she added as she shoveled dirt on top of the pumpkin pieces. I won't think about that pumpkin ever again, she declared. And she didn't until, I'm going to show you these pictures first. There she is for my Instagram friends on her little farm. And there she is covering it up down here for my YouTube and Facebook friends. There she is on her little farm. Here's her farm here. And then she's covering it up with dirt. What do you think is going to happen, friends? Do you think it'll just go away if she covers it up with dirt? What do you think? There's a good lesson in that. Oh my goodness, it just came to me. There's a good lesson in that. Covering it up with dirt. I like that. Okay. Spring. When Rebecca Estelle was admiring the new sprouts in her garden, she noticed Esmeralda playing in some big green leaves growing at the edge of the yard. How curious, she said, going over to inspect them. I didn't plant anything here. Then Rebecca Estelle remembered the pumpkin truck and the slimy pumpkin smithereens. Pumpkins, she cried in disgust. Come out of there, Esmeralda. I will not water those plants. I will not tend them. I will ignore them, and they will die. She picked up Esmeralda and stomped inside, but a week later, when Rebecca Estelle peered out her window, she saw that the vines had grown. And there she is. Here's her house up here for my Instagram friends, and there she is with her cat, Estelle, I think. No, Estelle. Esmeralda is her cat's name. There she is with Esmeralda, and she is actually in warrior pose, and she is telling Esmeralda that she will not look at that. And here she is down here for my YouTube and Facebook friends. Here's her barn, and here she is with Esmeralda. And she's in warrior pose, and she is telling Esmeralda, we will not play in those vines. We will not do anything with those vines. So coming to your mat, your blanket, or a piece of floor, we're going to go into warrior pose, just like Rebecca Estelle. Okay, giving wide legs. I want to see them really, really wide. And I'm going to go that way first. So I'm going to point those toes that way and these toes in. I'm going to lift up my arms, and then this knee is going to bend, okay? I'm going to give myself lots of room in between my legs because this knee is going to go over top of my ankle when I bend. This is a strong back leg, so I'm not bending it. I'm keeping it nice and strong, and I'm standing in warrior pose, and what am I holding? If I'm Rebecca Estelle, who am I holding? That's right, my friends. I'm holding Esmeralda. Hold Esmeralda tight. Stay in your big warrior pose and hold Esmeralda tight. Good job, my friends. And we're going to go to the other side. So we're going to keep our feet where they are. And all I'm going to do is change my feet. I'm going to point those toes that way now and bring these toes in. I'm going to bring my arms up and I'm going to bend this knee now. I'm going to make sure that knee is over top of that ankle. I'm keeping this leg nice and strong now at the back. All right, my friends. Now remember, we could be up here with just a small bent knee, or we can be way down. Whatever's comfortable. All right, and I'm going to hold Esmeralda again. And what am I telling Esmeralda? What am I telling her? We are not playing in those pumpkin vines. We are not even going to look at them. Nothing. We're not watering them. We're not looking at them. We're going to ignore them. Good job, my friends, coming out of your warrior pose. Coming back to the book. I wonder what happens when she ignores them. What do you guys think? What happens when you ignore them? She tramped to the barn, got her garden tools, and went to work on the pumpkin vines. She cut and dug until not one was left growing. There, now there will be no pumpkins. She smiled and went back inside. But the next week, when she was weeding the garden, she noticed that the pumpkin vines had grown back. Rebecca Estelle marched inside and snapped the curtains shut. The only thing to do is ignore them. They won't grow if I don't take care of them, she muttered. So rain or shine, all spring and summer, she never looked out the front window. She used only the back door and never even glanced toward the vines. Neither did Esmeralda. All right. Rebecca Estelle ignored the vines so well that in time she forgot why she wasn't using the front door. Until one autumn day when she and Esmeralda went to rake the leaves that fell each fall from the black walnut tree in front of the house. And here's her big, giant house. She has a big house on that property, doesn't she? Look at that big house, and she's got a little farmhouse as well and a farm shed. Oh my goodness, pumpkins! Rebecca Estelle shrieked. Pumpkin vines had twined under the bushes, over the bird bath, through the porch rails, and onto the rocking chair. The entire yard was a sea of plump, round pumpkins. Rebecca Estelle could no longer ignore them. She plopped down on the pumpkin nearest her, putting her hands over her face. Whatever will I do, Esmeralda, she cried. How will I get rid of this many pumpkins? She thought and she thought. Her mind went back to all the pumpkins she had eaten as a young girl, when pumpkins were the only food her family had. Look at all those pumpkins down here for my Facebook and YouTube friends. I'm trying to make that straight for you. All right, there you go. Look at all those pumpkins. And up here for my Instagram friends, you see all those pumpkins? Now we are going to sit just like Just like Rebecca Estelle is sitting. I'm just reading a comment here. It says, what's the storybook's name you were reading? The storybook's name is Too Many Pumpkins. That's Mancheri asking that. There it is, Mancheri. Too Many Pumpkins by Linda White. So Mike Strange has joined. Thanks for joining us, Mike. So coming to your mat, your blanket, or your piece of floor, friends, we're going to do chair pose, and we're going to sit on one of those big giant pumpkins, just like Rebecca Estelle did, okay? So I'm going to show you there's lots of room in between my legs. I'm going to go sideways so that you can see me. I'm going to put those arms up, and I'm going to pretend that pumpkin's behind me, and I'm going to sit on that pumpkin. Now remember, you can be up here, you can be way down here, whatever's comfortable. I'm going to sit on that pumpkin, and I'm going to think. I'll show you with this finger. Think. How are we going to get rid of all these pumpkins? You guys tell me in the comments. Mommy and Daddy can write them in for you. Keeping that chair pose. Think. What can we do with all of those pumpkins? Tell me what your favorite pumpkin snack is. Is it a smoothie? Is it muffins? Is it cookies? Tell me what your favorite pumpkin snack is. Pumpkin pudding, pumpkin pie. Tell me in those comments. I'm just going to check the comments here quick. Good. We are good. Okay. We'll see what Rebecca Estelle does with all of those pumpkins. Well, we can't let them stay here, she told Esmeralda. Some people might need these pumpkins, and I suppose there are folks crazy enough to like them. We'll give them away. She marched off to get her wheelbarrow. Rebecca Estelle struggled to lift the first pumpkin, then the second, and the third. She huffed and she puffed as she wheeled the loaded wheelbarrow into the lane. I'm too tired to deliver these heavy pumpkins now, Rebecca Estelle grumbled. She mopped her brow with her apron and wondered what to do next. Perhaps if I make them into pies, they will be easier to deliver. Such a nuisance. And there she is, picking up here for my Instagram friends, picking them all up. And there they are in the wheelbarrow, and she's trying to do it now down here for my Facebook and YouTube friends. Here she is picking them all up and putting them in the wheelbarrow, and there she is trying to wheel that big wheelbarrow full of pumpkins. Let's see. Oh, Neil replied for us. Too many pumpkins. Thank you, Neil. Let's see in the chat. Oh, Rachel says pumpkin protein balls are her favorite snack. I don't know about you, but I am a pumpkin lover. Miss Mel loves pumpkins, and I would love to get the recipe for pumpkin protein balls. That sounds amazing. All right, so she went to work. She scooped the slimy seeds out of the pumpkins and cut away the shells. After she boiled the pumpkin meat, she mixed it with eggs, milk, sugar, flour, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves to make rich pies. Then Rebecca Estelle made pumpkin tarts, pumpkin muffins, pumpkin cakes, pumpkin bread, pumpkin pudding, pumpkin cookies, until, oh my goodness, look at all that stirring and baking up there for my Instagram friends. All of those pumpkins and that stirring and baking, and down here for my Facebook and YouTube friends. Okay, we are going to bake with Rebecca Estelle. Coming to your mat, your blanket, or your piece of floor. We're going to sit down on our mat with our knees bent, and we're going to just go back on our bum a bit. That's called our sacrum, to the back of our bum there. And we're going to lift up our legs. And normally we do this in boat pose. This is called boat pose, and normally we just hold our hands like this. But this time, this is our giant mixing bowl, and we are going to stir. You can stir with two hands if you want, or you can hold one hand here and stir with one hand. It's easier stirring with one hand. It's harder with two hands because you have to hold your legs up. It's all in your belly muscles, my friends. I'm going to go stir the other way now, because believe it or not, it actually makes a difference which way you stir. It means you're using both sides. So stir, and keep putting in the comments what your favorite pumpkin treat is, and tell me what you're stirring in your bowl. All right. Good job, my friend. Tamsin has joined us. Welcome, Tamsin. That means that my little friend Imogen must be with you today too. Tamsin is one of our wonderful authors. Mancheri says, my husband is also a pumpkin lover with puree. Beautiful, beautiful. I think it's the time of year for pumpkin, and you either love it or you don't. Right, my friends? Okay, pumpkin dishes spilled out of every cupboard, drawer, and cubbyhole, and the seeds were a mountain in the corner. Well, that's the first batch, Rebecca Estelle said, dusting her floury hands. now to deliver them. She put the wheelbarrow outside the kitchen door, then loaded it with pumpkin treats. When it was full, just the thought of delivering all those pumpkin dishes made Rebecca Estelle tired. If only people would come get them, she said. Then she had an idea. Rebecca Estelle whirled around and hurried back into the house for a kitchen knife. This should get people to come, Rebecca Estelle cried. Look at her kitchen full of all of those treats up there for my Instagram friends. Full of all of those treats. Let's see. Rakesh has joined. He says, good. All right. Thank you for joining us, my friend. Okay. She took her knife and sat in the middle of the pumpkin patch. She carved a smiling face on a nice round pumpkin, a scary snaggletooth face on a tall, thin pumpkin, and Boo on a short, squat pumpkin. She was so busy carving pumpkins, she hardly noticed how dark it was getting. When she could no longer see, she went to the shelf on the back porch and got the sack of candles she kept for emergencies. If this doesn't get people to come here, we'll have to deliver them all ourselves, she muttered to Esmeralda. All right, we are going to do a yoga pose and we're going to carve pumpkins too. Mancheri says, puri is an Indian dish made of wheat. Oh, thank you for clearing that up. I wasn't sure what puri was. Thank you very much, my friend. All right, coming to our mat, our blanket, or our piece of floor, we're going to do butterfly pose. So we're going to sit on our bum and we're going to take the bottoms of our feet and put them together. And ready? We're going to put them together and we're going to butterfly a little bit. So that means we're going to move our knees up and down a little bit. All right, friends. And now we're going to be static. That means we're not going to move our legs and we're going to hold our feet there. But what are we going to do? I'm going to grab a big pumpkin. I'm going to plop it right here, right in the middle, because I'm going to get my pumpkin carver. You all have the safe kind, right? The safe pumpkin carvers that are safe for children. That's the kind Miss Mel has too, because I'm not allowed to have knives. I'm dangerous with knives. So I'm going to use the same little pumpkin carver you, and I'm going to carve my pumpkin. Now, keeping your legs here because we're still getting that stretch in our butterfly pose, and I want you to carve your pumpkin. Tell me what you're carving on your pumpkin. Is it a boo? Is it a scary face? Is it a happy face? Maybe you're carving, I'm carving a happy face, by the way. Maybe holding in that butterfly pose. Maybe you're carving something else. Maybe you're carving, I don't know, Hello Kitty. Or maybe you're carving Winnie the Pooh. I don't know. Who do you like to carve into your pumpkins every year? Tell me. Tell me what you like to carve. All right. I'm just checking the comments here as well. Look at all these pumpkins. Up here for my Instagram friends first. Aren't those cool? Is that what your front porch looks like at Halloween? All of those pumpkins? Okay. Rebecca Estelle peered into the darkness for a long time. She didn't see anything. Still, she watched until finally she saw a light, faint at first, then brighter, and then more lights bobbing through the night. Here they come, she shouted. Esmeralda, let's heat some apple cider. All right. And there's her front porch, all lit with all those pumpkins, and they're heating some apple cider. And we're going to do our last pose of this class before we get into relaxation. Neil says he's carving a happy face. That's what I was carving too, Mr. Neil. Okay, we're going to do one last pose and then get into relaxation because Miss Mel's over a bit. So our pose is going to be a lunge pose. So we're going to do walking lunge. Remember, walk and lunge. I want to see that knee down to the floor. And right now we're being all the townspeople walking to Rebecca Esmeralda's house to get the treats. So you tell me what treat you're after that she baked. She baked pies, she baked muffins, she baked cakes and cookies and puddings. Which one are you going to go get from Rebecca Esmeralda? I want to see that lunge. Walk and lunge. Get that knee down to the floor. Walk and lunge. And you can walk all around your living room or your bedroom, wherever you are doing class. I'm just walking back and forth so that you can see me. But you tell me in the comments what treat you're getting. I'm getting pumpkin pie. I think I might like to try the pumpkin pudding too. I don't think I've ever had pumpkin pudding. If anyone is near Miss Mal, bring me some pumpkin pudding, please. That would be wonderful. I would love to try that. Rachel says, I want to pumpkin you up. And she just gave us in the private chat the recipe for the pumpkin protein energy bites. And I think it's wonderful. I'm going to add that into the comments once we get into our discussion. into the public comments so that we can see that. Let's finish off our book here, friends. Young and old, everyone in town came. Rebecca Estelle, we thought you hated pumpkins, they said. We saw your jack-o'-lanterns from the end of the road and came for a closer look. I was hoping you would, said Rebecca Estelle. Where did you ever find all these pumpkins? People asked. I came by them quite by accident. Rebecca Estelle said, smiling. Would you like some pumpkin pie? There's plenty. She winked at Esmeralda. Everyone enjoyed the pumpkin pie and cider and had a good time. So did Rebecca Estelle. And when they were ready to go home, she made sure each carried a jack-o'-lantern, a bag of seeds for roasting, and a pumpkin treat. Rebecca Estelle gave away everything that reminded her of the pumpkins she had always hated until, all right, there's all the townspeople eating. And there's Rebecca Estelle up there for my Instagram friends giving away the jack-o'-lantern. She's giving one to a little girl. All right, all that remained was a handful of seeds. Those she tucked snugly into her pocket where they would be safe until planting time next spring. What do you think that means, friends? Is she going to replant? I think she is, because I think she liked all the friends that came with her pumpkin treats. All right, friends, it's time to do relaxation. We're going to do a quick relaxation, and then we're going to have our chat with Dr. Rachel Smart. So I want you to lay down. I invite you to lay down or sit down in hero's pose or crisscross applesauce. And if you're laying down, we're going to put our arms out beside us with our palms facing up. And if you're sitting in crisscross applesauce or in hero's pose, your arms are in your lap, hands facing up. Put those down there. And let's take one deep breath in and out. And as we let that breath out, dropping those shoulders down if you're seated or down into the floor, relaxing them into the floor if you're laying down. Good job, my friends. Taking one more deep breath in and out. Relaxing more down into the floor. Relaxing your chest and your waist. Relaxing your arms and your hands. Relaxing your legs and your feet. Letting those feet drop off to the side if you're laying down. If you're sitting, go to your bum, go to that root. It's called the root chakra. Go to your bum where it's touching the floor and relax every muscle around your bum. Everything that's touching that floor, just sink right down into the floor and relax it all. Noticing the sounds around you. And as you let those sounds come in and go, you let your thoughts come and go. You don't need those thoughts right now. You don't need to worry about anything. Hey, it's been a week of school. It's Saturday morning. We can relax. For those of us in Canada, it's a long weekend. Just put those thoughts underneath you for now. Tuck them away. Good job, my friends. And slowly and silently, I want you to repeat to yourself, I am healthy. I am happy. I am abundant. And we're going to talk about what abundant means. Abundance is when you have a lot of something. And what we learned in the book today, we learned something really deep in this pumpkin book today. We saw Rebecca Estelle grow tons and tons of pumpkins, and it happened from one pumpkin. And she was so upset that that pumpkin was left on her property that she covered it up with dirt. She didn't want anything to do with it. She covered it up with dirt and she let it be. And she ignored it. And what happened? It multiplied and became abundant. She had an abundance of pumpkins. But what happened in the end? She was happy in the end, because what did those many pumpkins bring her? They brought her friendship. They brought lots of townspeople to her house to see the carved pumpkins and to take part in all of her treats. the very thing that she thought was bad, the very thing that she didn't want, the very thing that she covered up with dirt and shoved down and paid no attention to, brought her happiness and friendship. It brought her abundance, an abundance of pumpkins, an abundance of friends, and happiness. So let us take the knowing that we have the choice to accept those things that come into our lives instead of throwing dirt on them and shoving them away. The knowing that we have the choice to accept those things, let's put that knowing deep inside our head. And let's take the happy feeling that those things can give us, the happy feeling of the happiness that can happen out of those things that we sometimes don't think are good things, but they can turn out to be good things. Let's take that happiness and put it deep inside our heart. And let's send that lesson, that knowing and that happiness, let's send it out to everybody around us, to everybody inside our house, all of our neighbors, all of our school friends, our teachers, all the helpers out there. Let's send that out to everyone around us and let everyone around us know that sometimes life brings us things that we don't want to deal with, we don't want to pay attention to, and we shove dirt on top of them and we ignore them. But sometimes they turn out to be good. Sometimes they bring us abundance and happiness and friendship and all good things. All right, when you're done with that, friends, if you're laying down, roll to one side, keeping your eyes closed, bringing your knees into your chest. If you're sitting, start to wiggle your hands and your toes, keeping those eyes closed. Staying there for a moment. And when you're ready, come and join me on my mat. We're going to ring our bells to end class, but I invite you all to stay and have a conversation with Dr. Rachel Smart. She's waiting patiently for us, sitting up nice and straight and tall. Bringing hands to heart center, my friends. We'll end class with Namaste. I feel good in every way. The goodness in me sees the goodness in all of you. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 90 of Storytime Yoga, my friends. And I invite you all to stay because we are right now going to bring in our friend, Dr. Rachel Smart. Ryan Morris has joined us. I'm going to bring Dr. Rachel Smart into the stream right now. And there she is. Welcome, welcome. I think we can hear you. Welcome, Dr. Rachel Smart, and I'm going to give her a little introduction before we start with her. Dr. Rachel Smart is a naturopathic doctor and a nutritional counselor. She's been a nutritional counselor for 20 years. She's a certified health, wellness, and plant-based coach. She's a meditation instructor as well as a psychology of eating expert, and that's why we have brought her here today to talk to us about being healthy and eating healthy as families. Dr. Rachel Smart partnered with the Juice Plus Company in 2007, and she's so passionate about helping families and getting them back to the basics of simple plant-based nutrition. All right, so when Dr. Smart saw the amazing things that Storytime Yoga was doing for families, she approached me to partner with us in Storytime Yoga and bring raw whole foods to all of the families that we serve and all of the families that we speak with and talk to every single week. Dr. Smart is the proud mother of 4 grown children and 5 grandchildren, and she lives in Peachtree City, Georgia. We are so happy to have her here today. Welcome.
Oh, welcome to everyone. Hello, Storytime Yoga family. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So, Dr. Rachel, I'm just going to give a shout out to a few people. Bubby is here, Ryan is here, Neil is here. Dr. Rachel, I'm going to ask you, and I know all of our fans are wondering, how as families do we prevent disease? How do we eat to prevent disease?
Well, I love that. I've been working with preventative health for over 20 years, and I'm so proud of all of you. Well, coming to learn and being proactive and learning with your, being able to manage stress and eating is really critical. We've been hearing a lot of things on how we can prevent disease by some things you learn and you'll learn at home or elementary school. Washing your hands, covering your mouth, staying home if you're sick, and hygiene. But really, the best way is to get educated on the power of the truth about food. What makes that garden grow right? We talked about Rebecca Estelle, and we need to, the root of all disease is inflammation. It's kind of like the weeds that strangled the plants that we talked about in the book that was read. But the first thing, I'm going to mention two things, is the first way is the best way to prevent disease or illnesses or sicknesses is to lower the inflammation. We do it by balancing your immune system. It's like the warrior within, help fight and to balance that immune to react and have the fighters to be able to attack the bad things that happen within the body. And the second thing is to strengthen the internal cellular terrain. It's the base of how you build your house. You want to make sure you have a solid base to your house. And the third thing is to bind and neutralize toxins. It's like we have toxins on the inside and we have them on the outside. So in a nutshell, I know families are watching, parents, but also I want to make sure kids get it too, because I have kids and I have almost 7 grandkids. But in a nutshell, we have invaders that accumulate, they grow, they build up in our bodies. They build up in 2 ways. One is on the outside. We have toxins that are happening, we see within our world we live in, the air we breathe, the food has chemicals on them, plastic that holds our food, a lot of it, our household items, we clean with, and there are a lot of more invisible. We don't see a lot of the toxins. But we have a lot of the toxins that are on the inside by a natural process of breathing. We breathe in, we basically it's a byproduct of metabolism and burning oxygen. And so the best defense against, we call them free radicals, or the oxidation, is really supplying the body with a boatload of what we call is antioxidants. They're against oxidation, and it offsets the toxic buildup of what we call garbage. Think about garbage in your house. If you kept not taking out the garbage, you're going to have a lot of stinky stuff build up, right? So you want to take out the toxins in the body, and we do that through antioxidants. It's abundance of, they come from abundance of properties within colorful fruits and vegetables and berries. So too much garbage sets the stage for disease. We want to give the right marching orders, and we don't want to have chaos. We don't want to have confusion. We want to have confidence in our immune soldiers, okay? I'm trying to make it relate to some of you that's watching. I love kids. And so the second way is to stop feeding disease. We need to cut off the enemy supply line. So how we do that is we start starving, we taking out the trash, we avoid processed sugars, refined foods, the white and brown fake foods, and the junk food. And we avoid what we call the inflammatory foods by reducing a lot of the animals that we eat, the factory fats, the processed food, and we start eating real food. And it's the most powerful way to really neutralize that damage. It's those antioxidants. So I like to create a playground analogy. If you think about it, I used to do this when I taught school, and I teach the nutrition classes just to teach them about net wellness. If you think about a playground and you want a happy, a safe place for your children to play. And so pretend that you're having a playground, all the kids are playing on the monkey bars, and then you have a bully, a bad guy that wants to creep in under the school fence. And so you have security guards that stand by the gate and handcuff them right before they get into the playground. And if you keep them, the security guards right by the gates, they can get the bullies right away, and they stay on top of the problem. And you want to make sure they stay awake. So if we have too many bad guys try to creep in, we get over abundance of the bad guys, and we want to keep them at bay. So I hope that gives you a little analogy of how to keep our insides protected with these antioxidants that come from thousands of properties within apples and oranges and pineapple and raspberries and broccoli and beets and radishes and all the things that help your body to grow and to maintain the wellness within. So we want to rebuild the natural defense and the power of food with plants. And I always say at least 80% do it right. Okay, we can have training that make sure 80% is right. And we want to eat the anti-disease foods. So basically it comes down to eating well, eating healthy comes by eating real food, and it comes down to really feeding your cells right. And it's because we look at how we generate our health is we generate cells. The cell is the smallest part of our how we make up our bodies. And in 1 year, guess what? We all have cells that are rebuilt. All of them are rebuilt in 1 year, and we want the right raw material. We want the good material. We don't want things falling apart. We want to make sure we have good material to build, and that's the quality. And that's why we need to know in 1 year we'll have robust bodies or failing bodies, or on the downspring or up slant of our health. So for me, in 20 years, I've been working with plant-based nutrition. I've been teaching other ways to get more whole food, raw fruits and vegetables and berries, and it's created the most significant change in my own health and my family's and all those clients in the the customers that I teach. So the more color that you eat is the better. We're not talking ketchup and M&Ms.
Well, we all know so how much sugar is in ketchup. I show that to my kids all the time. There's so much sugar in ketchup. It's crazy.
I know, like we think color is like Jello and M&Ms. It's like color is a real food that comes from Mother Nature. When you think of the garden that Rebecca was building, we think of what grows in the garden is what we need to be eating. That's what's going to make our cells to be replicated and to turn off the bad genes, to make sure the good things are turned on. And we don't want to all get into, and I've learned the multivitamins, it's really not where we need to get the nutrition to build the healthiest body. The multivitamins need to be gotten or consumed in whole food. And there is such strong evidence of that. So I know I'm not a big supplement person. I'm really getting it from the real deal. So I wanted to define whole food for all of you is that does whole food and to be healthy, it doesn't come from a box. It doesn't come from a bottle or a can or package or processed or factory food. They're loaded with toxins to preserve the shelf life in that food. So it lasts a long time, but doesn't really give us stuff to make it energy, to have your brain work. And we need to eat more color and less packaged. We call it dead food, things that don't produce life in the body, and it robs the body rather than to rebuild. So basically, to summarize, the big deal in eating whole food is we have to have the right expression of genes. The genes are what makes our bodies to produce the right outcome to be healthy, to think right, and not to turn on the disease state, and to take out the garbage, daily detox, to amplify energy. We want to get good energy that comes from living food, not energy that plummets when you eat sugars that just rises and then it crashes. We want to think really smart and have mental clarity. And we want to look our best, don't we? We want to feel our best. And,
absolutely. And I know as families, sometimes that's so hard for us to do when we're on the run, not necessarily now because we're not out and as busy as we used to be. But when we're all on the run and we're taking kids to activities and we're rushing from school and work to all those activities, I know it's such a hard thing. And I recall seeing you bring out a hamburger. It was a fast food hamburger that you had for 20 years and it wasn't molded or anything. It was hard as rock. I saw you demonstrate it, but there was no mold on it or anything. And it really caught me. It made me sit back and think, oh my goodness, what's happening to the inside of your body when you're putting that fast food burgers or whatever it is, when you're putting that fast food into your body. So what kind of tips do you have for families that really need that kind of quick injection of that food? How can we as families be a little bit healthier together?
Well, the first thing is to don't be fooled by false advertisement. You read these labels, and I'm sitting at my daughter's house. I helped her this weekend. I'm out in Utah, and I live in Georgia, but I was just woke up early to be on the time zone in Georgia, and I was one of her roommates came down here, and she was getting ready to race off to do her job, and she had a big donut cereal, and she put it in a big Tupperware, and then she loaded it up and ate it. It's a big container of it to go off to win the day. I thought to win the day, we have to read and not be fooled by these little advertisements that say something's healthy for us because it has a little plant on the box. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. Okay. The second thing is, you mentioned, I give talks at like elementary schools, and I showed the hamburger. It was a hamburger that I kept for 20 years. I left it outside, inside, it never rotted. And the reason why is because they load up our processed foods with these chemicals that make it last longer. It's to make it hold the shelf life, but the bugs won't eat it. Why should we be eating food that does not bring life to our bodies? And if you look at, you talked a little bit about pumpkins, but if you think about broccoli and apples even, and if you have things in the refrigerator, in a week or so, it's going to get moldy because mm-hmm. bacteria likes to feed off living food, things that have properties that help heal the body. And we want to make sure we're eating more of those so they can actually do something to bring us life. So simple tips are eating the rainbow, eating real food most of the time. We're supposed to be plating up or eating 13 plants throughout the day. So in order to do that, it is hard. I have children. We ran from soccer field, dance field, piano lessons all over the place. So we started putting sneakies into things. Green smoothies. We started putting the green things that are green inside of a smoothie that had good, some fruit in it as well. We saw metabolic reprogramming, so we could start changing the way the taste buds for our children, and it did work, because what you eat is what your cells begin to crave, and you can change your taste buds in 30 days. We also started doing the nibble tray. I'm partnered with Dr. Sears, and I'll share a little bit about him, but we put little muffins out. We put like some nuts, some almonds, they're good fats. We got the blueberries, we got broccoli, and we have cauliflower and carrots and tomatoes, and we put them in a nibble tray. Kids are going to eat that throughout the day. And we as adults, we can put snacks like that in our car, so we don't have to racing around and let our sugar drop, and then our willpower has kind of had a problem. We can have the apples and celery and some almonds in our car, that we can make better choices, and we only repeat what we want. With the reward, I love to teach parents, because I'm a parent. I want the best for my kids, but we reward what we want to repeat. So if you have your child come home with a report card, or done a great job in reading a great book like we heard today, we don't want to say, oh, good girl, let's go get some ice cream. What about going on a mother-daughter date, or being able to say, you have special time to stay up and do some more reading, or you get to go get a new book. So we want to reward those things that we want to repeat. And we're going to talk about some solutions that I found out years ago, but it's just getting to look at your plate and say at least half to 3/4 of it should be colorful, of things that you could find in a garden, like you talked about today.
Yeah, and I love those things, my friends. There are so many golden nuggets that Dr. Smart has just given us. And Neil says, he just says that I like the bully on the playground analogy, and I absolutely love that too. It's an amazing thing to think about when you're thinking about what you're feeding your kids, and as kids and adults, what we're feeding ourselves. But I also loved what you said about the nibble tray, because even for older kids, it doesn't have to be for little ones that are just not eating much at a time. For little kids, I think it's an absolutely amazing thing. And what I always had at my household is when the kids were going off to school, mine are online learning now, but when they were going off to school, they were getting all of these healthy things in their lunch. And I was finding that sometimes, that the fruit and the vegetable came back home. Everything else got eaten, but we had a rule at our house that when that stuff comes back, and when stuff comes back inside your lunch bag, you eat that first. You don't
Absolutely.
get any other snacks until you finish what was in your lunch bag. And my kids know that, and they'll come home and they'll finish that fruit or that vegetable, or, they'll say the fruit was a little mushy. I'll eat fruit, but can I have a different fruit? And they'll kind of barter a bit, but it still gets them to eat the fruit and the vegetable. And even having that nibble tray, after school, if they've eaten all of their lunch and they're just kind of playing or they're doing homework, having that nibble tray, I absolutely love that idea. It's incredible.
Also, really quick, is that something you have to realize is that food that is in packages, your body fills up on, if it has been nutritionally fed, it fills up. So if you're eating a box of crackers and pretzels, your body's not getting full, it's getting stuffed, but it always says, I'm still hungry. Yeah. For example, there's no shutoff valve. If you eat like how many donuts could you, or let's say how many pretzels can you eat? You can eat a whole bag and never really know when to stop, because there's no shutoff valve. But if you eat like a carrot or an apple, how many apples can you eat at one time before your body says full? It's about maybe 2 apples if you really tried, or maybe 2 carrots if you really tried. There's a shutoff valve in real food that says, I've been satisfied. So that's something to consider as well.
I absolutely love that too, because I know my kids will have a snack, and if I allow them to have something like pretzels with their hummus instead of a vegetable, they'll come back to me 10 minutes later and tell me they're hungry. And I'll say, you just ate. Yeah, I love that analogy. That's amazing. I'll remember that one too. See, Miss Mel just learned something new today too.
Okay,
all
good.
Right. So I'm just going to see if we have any questions. Please do pop questions in if you want to ask Dr. Smart some questions. I see some comments, and we'll read those out as well. So when Dr. Smart came upon Storytime Yoga, she thought it was something wonderful that we're doing, and we're promoting a specific program. We're promoting the Healthy Start for Families program. And so my question to you, Dr. Smart, is what is the Healthy Starts Healthy Starts for Families program, and why did you think it was so important for you to join together with Storytime Yoga in that program?
Well, first off, I was impressed with you, Melissa. I have never seen somebody that really loved the children to be able to provide that stress management, the story time, the interaction, the fun way to release negative energy with poetry and music and being silly with the postures. It's really powerful with the energy. I'm just so impressed with you. And I thought, I saw you speak on the giants, the giant and the small. It's an incredible thing. You're going to make sure you share in the notes as well.
Yeah.
But to how to be a giant, to be able to live strong, be strong, and move strong. You have we have 4 cores to health. We have, of course, exercise and movement. We have stress management and sleep. And then we also have some things that are the nutrition and water. There's some other things in there that weren't part of this. And I thought of all the moms that are watching this or that want to be part of raising a giant family, a strong mind and nutrition is in water. Those combinations have to be part of it. And so we talked about the Rebecca Estelle and the story that you read about the one simple change, the one seed. We can make small changes. So the Healthy Starts for Family is a program. It's easy and simple. It's the easiest program that I've ever had. And there's some incredible things to help families, not just children, but the family. Because sometimes parents they always give their kids the best, but they leave themselves out. We've got to get the parents healthy to help the kids as well. So it's for the whole family. We've had 2 million families part of this program. It is the largest observational study in the world with the most researched nutritional product in the world, a whole food concentrate with something called Juice Plus. And so the study is when an adult starts on Juice Plus and they get 30 plants, or you can have options or bundles, 30 fruits and vegetables or 20 fruits and vegetable options. You can sponsor a child. So parents can take capsules, the child can take the capsules or chewables, and it can happen from age 4 years of old age up to full-time college students. And they can receive Juice Plus at no cost for 4 full years. So we're setting the stage because the study is rooted in 20 years of research, and it focuses on how to impact health cellularly with 3 main pillars. Good nutrition is the foundation, which inspires other healthy lifestyle choices. So you're doing this, Melissa, with your teaching the yoga, and then we go into nutrition, and then we go into active choices, and childhood time is the best time to establish the nutritional habits. And then the healthy body image is so important. We have children we're seeing adult diseases. We're seeing kids that are having such, obesity that's hit an all-time rise, and our kids deserve to have that. And so we involve the parental involvement to getting nutrition, which tips the scale in the right direction. And the success of the family health study is tracked through series of volunteer surveys. And so, what we do is, for me, it's been a game changer, and all my 4 kids did the study. And so what it's done for my kids, I don't know about you and all the moms that want the very best for their children, and grandparents that want the best because the grandparents can sponsor, an aunt or uncle can sponsor. And even an 18-year-old child could sponsor another younger child if they have more than 4, a couple kids in the family. But picky eaters is hard. I remember looking at my kids, they'd stare at broccoli and just cry, and, I wouldn't want to eat it on the table. And they would get tired during school, and they would bounce off the wall because of just, the wrong food that was in. So with the Healthy Starts for Families, I've been doing it for 20 years, but it shaped my kids' taste buds. They crave more fruits and vegetables than they do the junk.
Yeah, you know what? And I that's what I love about that program. Not only that the kids are getting it, they're sponsored and they're getting it for free. They're getting all of that nutrition for free. Both of my kids are on it. I'm a single mom, and I sponsored one of my kids. My parents sponsored my other child, and my youngest was craving all of the carbs and all of the sugar and all of that. And her taste buds, she's been on for almost 2 months now, and her taste buds are starting to change. And she just asked me last week for a vegetable fruit dehydrator to make our own fruit roll-ups at home.
Oh, cool.
And, she's 9 years old, and she said, I found it on Amazon. I would like to buy it.
Well, we're educating our children, but it's called metabolic reprogramming. When you start changing your palate with a food concentrate, which you got, we'll talk to others that want to have the free resources that I'll give you recipe booklets for the snacks and all the things, but we want to show you what ways to add it in your home, but also the whole food concentrate of getting plants in capsule or soft chewable, because it's the biggest thing to get the most benefit of starting to ripple into making better choices, reshaping the taste buds, filling in the guilt gap when you can't, don't, won't. And then I know with my grandkids, they will choose real food over candy. And my kids, even when they were younger, before we knew about all this, they would be constipated. They would struggle in the bathroom. They just couldn't go. And that's the toxics. That's not getting raw food, and fiber is lacking. And then the immune system. We want to talk about prevention. We've got a world we have got to have our kids be strong, to fight back, to bounce back. And then for me as a parent, peace of mind, putting disease at bay or being proactive. It's about being proactive, not waiting for the disease to start and then go, now what do? We got type 1, we got type 2 diabetes. We've got all these problems. And you go, wow, we've got to start with a safety, I call it a nutritional safety net. So we will tell you more about, how to get more whole food in this wonderful program with putting yes in the, if you want to get the free resources, I have incredible recipes for all the way you can feed your family better, but put yes in the chat. Melissa will go and share with you all about the Healthy Starts for Families program. And we have partnered with Dr. Sears of the AskDrSears.com. He's written 40 books on parenting and health. He's been on 100 talk shows. He's an American pediatrician. And he only recommends raw fruits and vegetables in capsule with Juice Plus because it's research, because of the studies, and it's not a vitamin. We're tired of things that are pulled out of food. We need to get it in the real form. And one of the other doctors that I love that's part of this whole program he's Dr. Tulser from Austria. He's the first doctor to do heart operation on a baby in a womb. So you're talking credibility, and just incredible. And it's helped my family so much. And I found out about it because I was a big juicer trying to get more raw fruits and vegetables because I couldn't get 13 servings every day. And juicing was hard. It loves sugar. It's complicated. It's hard to palate cabbage juice. It's like getting some of the others. And this was a juicing alternative with a fraction of the cost. And I've been doing it for 20 years. And I have been to zero sick care visits to my doctor and my kids. It is the best feeling to go to bed at night and saying, they are turning on the right expressions of genes. And if they have to fight, they got the stuff to fight with. So
absolutely. And it's so easy for them to get it in that gummy format. It's so easy for them to get them to take it. And even in the capsule can be opened up. And I will often open the capsule and put it into their smoothies as well, instead of the gummies. So, and actually I learned a trick. I learned that you can just throw the whole capsule into your smoothie and the capsule will disintegrate. So I've been doing that with my smoothies and just throwing it in to the whole capsule. So I did put into the comments, friends, Rachel was talking about Get Fit with Giants and Wake Up with Giants TV. Miss Mel and Rachel, Dr. Rachel Smart, we were both interviewed on the Wake Up with Giants TV. So I've put in the links to both of those groups, and we're going to talk more about those groups in the next few weeks to come. We have some amazing things, some fun things going on in November with Storytime Yoga as well. So you know what? I just want to talk about one more thing before we go. And I'm going to throw you for a loop because I didn't talk to you about this before, Dr. Rachel. But, as you were talking and you were talking about all of the healthy things that we put into our bodies and all of the wonderful things that Storytime Yoga is doing for all of our families and for the little ones, the biggest thing that I always found when families and when parents were bringing their little ones into class is that we were dealing with anxiety, we were dealing with depression, we were dealing with bullying, we were dealing with stress. And I had little 8-year-olds coming into class telling me they were so stressed at school. And I would say probably half, sometimes to 2/3 of my class, I would have kids that were either moving into depression or were experiencing real anxiety and panic. And we were I was giving my son, and there was a few kids that were having naturopathic supplements to help with anxiety and to help calm them. And it's just such an epidemic that we're seeing. And there is a real connection to the food we're eating and our mental health. And when we're eating all of those carbs and when we're eating all of that sugar in particular, that sugar is feeding anxieties. That sugar is feeding or vegetables, we're feeding our mental health when we're feeding our bodies like that. And I wanted to just touch a bit on that before we go, because I think it's really an important thing, especially in this time right now with everything that we're going through and with the stresses of how school looks, whether kids are in school or whether they're in online learning, our mental health is really important. Can you touch on that a little bit for us?
Well, it's just, we want to know that and we didn't mention the plant-based omegas because that's something anybody who wants to know outside of fish oils, we bypassed the fish, going right into the real plant sources of a wider spectrum. Cold fusion is vegan, it's research. It helps with the whole food, the micronutrition, Juice Plus, the plant powders, and the omegas. They come to make sure those things are the pathways, the neural pathways are moving to the brain. They have proven with movement and nutrition is better than any medicine. We're not saying you never take a medicine. We're just saying some of the best medicine properties come from God. I would say God's chemotherapy, And I just came up and thought of one of my biggest clients. He's one of the former he was the president of ASA Airlines, and he took Juice Plus. He said, I still get beat up every day because when I've been taking Juice Plus, I don't feel as beat up. Okay, so the anxiety, the depression, you've got to. One of my daughters suffered from depression, and her doctor said, you need to move your body, and you need to take, whole food and, as powerful plants, because you can't work the cells to communicate, to repair, to neutralize, to stimulate. How do you expect the child's brain to work? And if you take medicine as an only solution, it could be a tipping point to get you stabilized and then start backing away. And not saying you never have, but you're not really solving the problem. You're only dealing with a Band-Aid. And so you're going to have things that bounce back and save money, but like walk, exercise, and stress management like you do, nutrition. That's why you partnered. I asked you to partner with me. We have a war we're faced with. We have parents that are saying, I don't know what to do. I don't want to see my kids have depression. Mental illness is rising more than heart disease. There's something we must do. Education, and then not just education and trying, because I tried, but I realized that I wasn't able to do it without a supplementation of a whole food concentrate. And so because of that, I have now the way to help people bring about the best yeses in life, because if you don't have health, you have nothing. You don't have choices. And then also be ready for the worst. We're going to have both. Life is beautiful and brutal at the same time. And so we want to make sure we give that leverage. But this program helps families and grandparents or whatever age right, but everything's less than a bottle of water, and free for children for 4 years. So my family had 4 kids. I had 2 parents sponsor the 2 kids. If you have more, and I had the 4 kids, so I had a grandparent sponsor the other ones. Oh my gosh, what a blessing and a gift. And you get it, Melissa. You are amazing. Because you get the stress. You have your story. You turned it around, and we're partnered with the Giants, the story of the Giants and the small and the Giant TV, and it's like, you figure out how to work that mind. And I, going off to a little bit on that too, is that we have help with learning how to think right and not put dirt over the problem like we talked about in that story. Yeah. And so I hope those things help you. But if you want some recipe booklets that we have, snack recipes, but to knowing about the healthy starts for families, get back with Melissa, or as soon as you can. We have a special going on. You can also get another 15 servings of our plant-based shake mix, which is 100% plants, fiber to help fill you up, have a very brainy breakfast. Dr. Sears recommends that. I'm a partner with Dr. Sears. I'm a certified institute with a wellness institute with Dr. Sears. And that is for only $5, you get a $30 value, and it's only lasting for a short time. So put yes, and we'll get back to you. But it has been the biggest game changer. And that's why I wanted the best, Melissa, to you to share this with your families all over the world. And we're also asking for wellness advocates to partner with us as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Dr. Rachel. Like Dr. Rachel Smart says, if you want some of those free resources, even if you're watching the replay, please do put yes in the comments, and I will get in touch with you. I will keep watching the comments so that all of our friends we have lots of friends in the UK, we have lots of friends in Australia, so they'll be at different time zones. So all of our friends in those different time zones, even if you're watching the replay, put #replay, and please do put yes if you're interested in those free resources. And please do get in touch with myself, and I can get any questions through to Dr. Smart if you have any further questions. And we thank you so much for being here today with us, Dr. Smart. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. And we're so glad that you could come and, give some healthy tips to all of our Storytime Yoga families.
Thank you.
We are going to say goodbye to all of our friends. I'm going to end our broadcast here. Goodbye, my friends, and thank you for joining us for episode 90 of Storytime Yoga. Join me back here tomorrow morning, Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next book of the weekend. Goodbye, my friends.